Hey everybody, it's Alex at Motoroso.com, and in this video we're going to be doing a step-by-step detailed how-to installation guide for the ARB Zenith rear bumper for the brand new Ford Bronco. Now we also did product spotlights about this bumper, including the front version of it, and we did an installation guide for the front bumper. Hope you all found that helpful. It is a pretty detailed installation because ARB has gone to great lengths to engineer and design a bumper that has significant reinforcements. This thing doesn't just bolt up like some of the other ones in the industry. There's quite a few brackets, bolt, and the relocation of this license plate and the lighting for that license plate. We'll take you through the whole thing in this video. If you'd like to buy this beautiful bumper, you can click this link right over here. That'll take you over to Motoroso.com, where you can reach us on live chat or call us toll free anytime. We love helping Bronco customers with their project build. But without further ado, let's dig into this install. Before we can install the new ARB Zenith bumper on the Bronco, we first need to remove the spare tire and the OEM bumper. Start by removing the four 19mm bolts securing the bumper to the frame rail and the OEM tow hooks. Next, we need to disconnect the wiring harness from each corner of the bumper. Next, remove these two 13mm bolts towards the left and right sides. Now we can remove the OEM bumper by lifting up and away. On the OEM bumper, remove the 15mm bolts holding these bumper brackets in place and remove the wiring harness from the bumper. Be sure to take note or label each sensor for the correct fitment on your new Zenith bumper. On the right side of your Bronco, press the exhaust hanger off the hanger post, then access the rear muffler hanger mounts through the crossmember and remove the 13mm bolts. Attach the muffler hanger to the muffler relocation bracket using the OEM hardware. Now we can install this muffler relocation bracket, making sure the longer leg of the bracket is facing the outboard side. Fasten using the M8x20 bolts, washers, and nuts. Rehang the exhaust on the modified hanger bracket. Next, place the corresponding bumper mounting brackets on each side of the vehicle. These may need a little bit of persuasion in order to seat to the chassis correctly. Using the provided M16x35 hardware, fasten through the side of the bumper mounting brackets, but don't fully tighten. Using the provided M12x110 bolts, washers, and nuts, slide these bolts through the hole directly above the crossmember. On the driver's side, use the provided M12x110 bolt, washer, and nut through the mount and chassis and tighten. You can now fully torque all the bolts on the driver's side mounting bracket. Moving to the passenger side, ARB wants you to drill a hole in the front of the crossmember to install this last bolt. We opted not to drill this hole. We're confident this bumper is strong enough. You can now fully torque all the bolts on the passenger side mounting bracket. Next, we need to install the recovery point brackets. Install these using two of the provided M12x30 bolts and washers, again not fully tightening. Now on each side of your Bronco, insert one of the provided M12x50 bolts and washers into the recovery point top bolt hole, with the bolt head facing outward. Next, press the recovery point bracket against the recovery point and then snug. Then fully tighten the bracket bolts to the frame. Next, insert two M12x55 flange head bolts through the recovery points and fasten with washers and nuts. Moving over to the ARB bumper, first install the center plate using the 6 M6 cage nuts and bolts, fully tightened. Now insert the parking sensor housings into the two outermost parking sensor locations. Then on the center plate, install the parking sensor housings, and if they're loose, use the provided shims underneath the clips. Next, we'll need to install the wiring harness. Now you may need to cut back some of the harness wrap in order to allow the inner right parking sensor enough slack to be installed. In our case, we had enough slack, so no trimming was necessary. Now plug in the harness to the corresponding sensors, noting the orientation and order of the sensors from left to right the way it was removed from your OEM bumper. Before installing the bumper, ARB advises covering the recovery points in tape to protect that glorious red finish. Using a friend, carefully lift and install the bumper onto the vehicle. Using the four provided M12x35 bolts and washers per side, fasten the bumper to the mounts and check for level. Now if the bumper level needs to be corrected, remove the mounting bolts on the highest side and insert one or two of the 2mm shims they provide between the bumper and the mount on the highest side. Fully torque those bolts once you're satisfied with the level and alignment. Don't forget to reconnect the parking sensor harness on both sides of the Bronco. Next, we need to assemble and install the license plate relocation bracket. Using two button head M4 bolts and washers, attach the license plate light to the bracket. Next, remount your spare wheel and use the two provided coupling nuts as your top two lug nuts. Then, using two M12x30 bolts and washers, attach the bracket to the coupling nuts and fully tighten. Now you can reinstall your license plate. Next, we need to route and connect the wiring for the license plate light. Now in ARB's instructions, they suggest running the wiring from the light to a large wiring loom that is inside the rear quarter panel behind the plastic. To us, this seemed like a lot of extra work and would leave the OEM license plate harness dangling below the car. So we opted to wire directly into that OEM harness. Now this will require a little bit of additional wire to extend ARB's provided harness. The first half of this wiring process is the same as ARB's instructions, whichever route you choose to take. Remove both plastic panels on the rear door using the supplied wiring, route that through the grommet into the door and run alongside the OEM harness. We punched a small hole in this harness wrap so we could run our wiring through it. This isn't necessary, but definitely a much cleaner look. Pull the wire through the OE harness wrap and then reinstall the plastic trim on the rear door. Next, remove the tailgate trim from the rear door seal. Route the wiring down the rear quarter panel and around the weather stripping, then punch a small hole in the weather stripping and run the wire through there under the bumper. Now reinstall the tailgate trim to the rear door seal. Lastly, connect the white wire from your license plate light to the black wire on the OEM harness and connect the red wire to the yellow wire on the OEM harness, and with that, you're done. All right, we hope you found this installation guide helpful. If you'd like to purchase this bumper, click right here. That link will take you over to Motoroso.com where you can browse this and hundreds of thousands of other products for your Bronco, and there you can reach us on live chat or call us anytime, toll free. If you'd like to check out the front Zenith bumper, check out this video right here to learn more about that. Thanks for watching.